Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the winding down flow. Thanks for joining me. We'll start in a standing position at the top of your mat, hands at heart center, bringing your awareness to your breath. Maybe setting an intention. And inhaling, the arms up overhead. Exhaling, folding forward, hinging at the hips, relaxing the neck. And inhaling up halfway to our flat back. Exhaling your hands to the mat. Stepping back to plank, maybe lowering to your knees. And gently rocking forward and backward on your wrists. Not pushing too hard, listening to your body. And then we'll lower down, keeping those elbows next to your side body, to your belly, and then extending those elbows, maybe to Sphinx. And then lifting those hips up and back as we push to our downward dog, keeping the knees bent to reach the chest to the thighs. Engaging the arms. Fingertips are spread, knuckles pressed into the mat as you follow your breath through the nose. And looking in between your hands to step your feet in between your hands, coming up halfway. Exhale to fold forward. Inhaling, the arms up overhead, looking at your fingers. Exhaling for a slight back bend. Inhaling back up. And exhale, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway. And exhaling your hands to the mat, stepping back to that plank or to knees. Shifting your weight forward to bend the elbows, maybe lowering onto your belly and extending the elbows up. And then hands on the mat as you push your hips up and back to our downward dog. You can keep your knees bent here to reach your chest towards your thighs. Opening up the shoulders. Relaxing the neck as you follow your breath. Inhaling, stepping in between your hands to come up halfway. Exhale to fold forward. Inhaling, the arms up overhead. Exhale, back bending, looking at your fingers. Maybe interlacing your hands behind your head. And lifting your sternum straight up. And exhaling down to the right side. Inhaling up, exhaling to the left side. Keep reaching back with the elbows. Breathing deeply into your belly. Inhaling back up to center. Inhaling the arms up and exhale, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling your hands to the mat, stepping back. Lowering to your knees to go down through your flow. Maybe increasing that back bend a little more with each flow. And then pushing those hips up and back to our downward dog. Maybe you want to pedal out your feet. Or maybe you want to keep your knees bent here. Still reaching the chest to the thighs. Reaching the tailbone up as you tuck your abs in. Making sure the arms are still engaged. And looking in between your hands to step, coming up halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling the arms up overhead. interlacing them behind your head as you back bend, reaching the sternum straight up. And exhaling over to the right side. Keeping the chest open. Inhaling up and exhaling over to the other side. Breathing deeply, maybe giving a little smile. Inhaling back up. Inhaling the arms up and exhale, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling your hands to the mat. Stepping back, going through your vinyasa. Taking as much time as you need. Really listening to your body. And if you feel a tight spot somewhere, just hang out in that position and breathe into the space. We're going to widen our hands and our feet so we can shift our weight from the right side over to the left side. Aware of all the little changes going on in your back muscles, shoulder muscles, coming back to center. And stepping both feet in between the hands to come up halfway and exhale to fold forward. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale to chair pose, bending the knees, tucking the tailbone under. Maybe bring hands to heart center if that's too much for your shoulders. But keep tucking that tailbone under. Breathing through the nose. Remembering your intention. Your breath is your anchor. Inhaling, straightening the legs. And exhale, folding forward. Grabbing opposite elbow, releasing the neck. Maybe swaying side to side. Releasing all the tension you've built up through the day. Just letting it go with each breath. One more deep breath. And inhaling up halfway to our flat back position. Barely hovering your fingertips over your shin. Or maybe you want to rest them on a block in front of you. Really trying to keep your spine nice and straight and not lowering, not rounding the upper chest. And we'll do some standing cat-cows. Inhaling, rounding the spine. Exhale, arching. You can use 2 blocks on your hands for some extra stability if you'd like. Inhale, rounding the spine. And exhale, arching. You can also place your hands on your hips or back to your shins. Inhale, rounding the spine. Exhale, arching, looking up. Inhale, rounding. Exhale, arching. Making sure your weight doesn't go too far back into your heels. Inhale, rounding. Bringing that weight forward. Exhale, arching. And back to our neutral spine. Holding here. Maybe reaching your arms backward for a couple breaths. And exhale to fold forward. Stepping back with both legs. Shifting your weight forward, going down through your vinyasa. Taking your time. Doing what your body needs for you in this present moment. We'll meet in a downward dog. Inhaling the right leg up. And exhaling it in between the hands. Inhaling, rising the arms up to a high lunge. Maybe shortening the stance. Whatever feels good for you right now. But trying to tuck the tailbone under, keep the spine straight, and engage that back leg. Sinking deeper with each breath. Maybe leaning back slightly. And placing hands on your hips to straighten your legs, maybe closing the legs a little closer together. Toes are still facing forward in 2 lanes. And we're going to hinge forward halfway to our flat back. Again, you can use those blocks at either side of your foot for stability. Pushing into the mat with both toes. Hips are square. And maybe with each breath, releasing down, lowering the blocks. Keep pushing into the mat with both toes. Breathing. Being accepting of where your body is right now. You've gone through a lot today. Walking your hands a little bit farther forward in front of that right leg to lift the left leg up behind you. Using that glute to lift it a little higher. Maybe you'd like to put your hands on a block here as you lift that back leg even higher and stepping back with both legs, going down through your vinyasa. Always following the breath through the nose. And now we'll inhale the left leg up and exhale it in between the hands. Pointing those toes forward, finding stability to rise the torso and arms, keeping those hips straight forward, tucking the tailbone under, engaging the back leg, sinking deeper with each breath. Remember, you don't need a super wide stance, you can shorten it. Finding a point on the wall to focus your gaze. Maybe leaning back slightly. And then placing hands on hips as you shorten your stance to straighten both legs. Pushing into the mat with both toes as we hinge forward halfway to that flat back position. Remember, you can use those blocks out in front of you. Maybe one on either side of the foot. Still pushing into the mat with the toes. Starting to fold forward. Releasing the neck down. And then we'll start to walk those hands in front of the foot. Maybe using those blocks to do so. To then lift up that right leg behind you. Tuck the abs in, keep the hips square. Follow your breath. Lifting that leg a little higher. And landing that foot down, stepping back with the other one to go through your vinyasa. Meeting back in our downward dog. Reconnecting with your intention here. And we'll shift our weight forward to a plank. Shoulders above wrists. You can also lower onto your forearms, tucking the abs in. Couple more breaths. And maybe rocking forward on your toes, lowering down onto your belly. Extending your arms out in front of you for 2 deep breaths into your belly. Then bringing elbows underneath shoulders for Sphinx, pushing your shoulders away from your ears, engaging the legs out behind you, lifting those toes up. Lifting a little higher. And then releasing those legs down. Wrists underneath shoulders to push up and back. You can keep your knees closed or you can widen them. Walking your hands out in front to rest your forehead on the mat, but keeping both arms engaged, pushing into the mat with your palms. Breathing deeply into your belly. Releasing the tension in your low back and your shoulders. Consciously releasing and breathing. And then shifting your weight forward to go down through your vinyasa. And from our downward dog, we'll meet in a seated position. Bending your legs so your feet are touching in butterfly. Lowering your knees, straightening the spine. Inhaling deeply. And exhale, folding forward, keeping your low back straight. You can release your neck. Releasing all the tension that was built up in your hips throughout the day. Breathe, create space. And slowly rising up the torso and extending both legs out in front. Engaging both legs, maybe flexing the feet. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. First, reaching the chin to the toes. So we're trying to keep the low back straight so that we're really hinging at the hips and not rounding the back. Breathing into the space. And then you can release the neck down, folding forward as much as feels good. Breathing, opening the upper back, the lower back, the hamstrings. And inhaling, rising up the arms and torso. And then we'll open up the legs using the long distance of the mat, reaching for your big toes with your 2 pointer fingers and engaging your legs so you're pushing them down into the mat as you fold forward. The quads are engaged. Keep pushing down with your legs into the mat. And then you can release your hands out in front of you to fold forward. Breathing, creating space, releasing tension, walking your hands slowly back to center, closing the legs and crossing them so you can place your hands at the top of your mat and step back to go through your vinyasa. From our downward dog, we'll lower onto our knees for our all fours position, wrists under shoulders. Lifting up the right leg behind you, maybe the left arm in front. Lift that right leg up, tucking your abs in, squaring the hips, pushing down into the top of the left foot. Keep lifting and breathing. And we'll lower that leg down, but lift the left arm up. Exhale, threading it through, releasing your head down to the mat. And you can use that right arm to deepen the twist. Pushing down into the mat. You can also wrap that right arm around your back. Or a little shoulder stretch, whichever feels good to you right now. And we'll unwrap that right arm, placing it back on the mat, pushing into the mat to come back to our all fours position. Inhale, rounding the spine. Exhale, arching, looking up. Inhale, rounding. Exhale, arching. Finding your neutral back and inhaling the left leg behind you, maybe the right arm. Again, tucking those abs in. Engaging the back foot all the way through your toes, pointed or flexed. Pushing into the top of the right foot. Releasing that leg down. Inhaling the right arm up to the ceiling and exhaling it, threading it underneath the left arm, releasing the head down. Whatever you did on the other side, either pushing that left hand into the mat to twist or wrapping it around your back. Being accepting of how your body is. Knowing that this is just one moment. Everything will change. Everything will pass. And unbinding that left arm so you can push back to all fours. Inhale, rounding the spine. Exhale, arching. Inhale, rounding the spine, looking down. Exhale, arching, looking up. One more inhale, rounding. Coming back to neutral as we keep our hips lifted and walk the hands out in front. To rest your forehead on the mat, you can also place your hands on 2 blocks if you'd like more of a shoulder stretch. The arms are engaged. The palms are pushing into the mat. Breathing, releasing. Maybe shifting your weight from the left to the right side, deepening that shoulder stretch. And then we'll walk our hands over to the right side, keeping the arms straight and engaged for a lovely side stretch. And walking hands over to the left side, keeping them straight and engaged, pushing palms into the floor. Breathing into the side body. And walking hands back to center. And we'll go down through our Vinyasa. Taking as much time as you need. Whenever you're ready, we'll meet lying down on our backs. Bending your knees so your feet are touching the mat. And you can place your hands palm face down on the mat, or you can interlace them behind your back as you lift your hips up for bridge pose. Really engaging the glutes, lifting your hips as high as you can. Lifting a little higher. And releasing the hips down. We'll bend the knees, grabbing onto the outside of the feet, maybe rocking side to side. Giving your lower back a nice massage. And releasing the feet, hugging your knees into your chest. Lowering those knees down to the right side and looking to the left. Extending that left arm out. One more breath. And inhaling those knees back to center. Giving them a little squeeze. And lowering them down to the left side. Looking to the right. One more deep breath. And bringing knees back to center. Giving them a little squeeze. And then lifting the feet straight up to the ceiling. Enjoying this inversion. One more breath. And we'll start to lower the legs down 1 inch at a time. Opening the legs mat width distance to point your toes outwards. Extending the arms out, palm face up. Now here we do want our lower back on the mat, so maybe you want to bend your knees coming to a butterfly. Or maybe putting your feet on the mat width distance, and pouring your knees inward to touch. But finding stillness here in your body and mind, releasing the awareness of the breath. Finding stillness. Taking a deep breath in and out, wiggling your fingers and toes, rolling your wrists and ankles, bending your arms and legs, hugging your knees into your chest, and rolling onto your favorite side, feeling supported by the earth. And when you're ready, we'll push up to a seated position, keeping your eyes closed, straightening your spine, and bringing hands to heart center. Expressing gratitude for your practice, for your mind, your body, and everything that you have. Remembering the intention that you set, and bowing your head, leaving your ego below your heart. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you feel relaxed and ready for bed.